Hello, welcome to a short tutorial on zone-based seed planning in Contour. In this video we're going to go through building a multi-crop zone-based seed plan, building out a rule, making zone edits on an individual zone basis, bulk adjusting, and finally take a quick look at job sheets. To access zone-based seed planning, first of all go to Planning, and then to seed plans, which is the little picture of the two leaves. You then need to go to Create New Plan. At this point you have various different options. The one we're looking at today is Soil Zone Seed Plan. Once you're in the Soil Zone Seed Plan page, first of all give the plan a name. Then you need to select the crop types that you're planning for. You can either just select one crop type, or you can select everything. For this example, I'm going to plan for everything. Once you're happy, click Next. At this point, you need to add the rules. The rules will determine what rates you apply to which zones. So if we go to Add Rules, we then first need to pick the rate unit we're planning by, so either seeds a metre squared, kilograms a hectare, or seeds a hectare. For this example, I'm going to use seeds a hectare. Once you've decided this, you need to set the base rates. So first of all here we've got our winter barley, so we need our base rate. So for this example, I'm going to use 300 seeds, then 1,000 grain weight. And then you just work your way down the list. So onto our spring barley. Oilseed rape. And then our winter wheat. If you wish to break down your base rates further, you can add additional lines in per crop type. So for our winter barley, for example, we wanted to do something different for a different variety. We can do that. So if you want to do something specifically for armadillo, there's only one field in this example, but if there's multiple fields, we can then pick just a specific field, or we can just leave it all fields. So again, you can do something different from the base rates. If you want to do, say, 325, or you have a slightly different 1,000 grain weight, you can do that. If we do that for the spring barley, we've got more fields here. So if you want to do something different for each field, you again can pick the variety, pick the particular field, and then it may be that you actually have the same base rate, but a different 1,000 grain weight. And again, you can stack another line in. So again, pick our variety, pick the field which is different. This one may be a different rate. Similar 1,000 grain weight, and you can keep adding to this list. Once you're happy with your base rates, we can then move on to rules. Rules allows you to apply a different rate to a different soil attribute. So it will take the base rate here. It will then look for a soil attribute. So in this case, I've got clay, silt, sand, and topsoil texture. For some other customers, you may have other layers such as soil code, but the process is the same. So for this example, I'm going to use clay. As soon as we select our soil type, it then produces our clay map. And it shows us our maximum variation. So on this particular farm, we're going from 27% to 51%. The next step in the rules is to pick your banding. So if we start at the lower end, so at 27% clay, so between 27 and 32, for example, we want to decrease our base rate. So again, our base rate from up here by, say, 20%. We can then add another line in. So again, still picking clay. We're going to move up the values, so from 33 to 37, say. we again want to decrease by 10%. And we can keep working up this scale. So if we just add another couple of lines in here, if we again pick our clay, and we're going to go between 40 and 45. In this case, we're going to increase by 10%. And then here for our soil attribute again, clay, between 45 and 52, we want to increase our value by 20%. So this determines our base rules. What we can do is if there's another soil attribute that maybe performs slightly differently, we can add in an exception. So it's all priority led. So base rate is our starting point, base rates are overridden by rules, and rules are overridden by exceptions. So if we want to add an exception in, say of sand, and where our sand value is between 30 and 35, for example, we actually want to decrease by 10%. So that's our next priority. The next priority down is observation. So observations are scouting points that have been recorded throughout the season. So if we go into our observations, go add new, we can then see all of our scouting observations from throughout time. So if we want to say pick our weed observation from Cow Shadow's old lay, and we've got another one here for Dove House lay that we want to use, and actually there's one from Millfield here that we also want to use, we can pick those and then add them to the rules, and they appear in our observations. So here we've got an exception, so except if blackgrass, so we know it's a blackgrass observation, then increase by 30%, for example, again for this one, and then again for this one. So these polygons will override everything beneath them. If there's an area that's not depicted by an observation, you can manually add a polygon in. So if we go add a new polygon, we then need to go up to our drawing tool up here, and then we're able to click on the map. So we can say for this corner here, we want to take that out and assign a different rate. The neat thing here is you can go right over the boundary and that'll neatly, tidily put it around the boundary. So again, we've got our polygon, and then we can increase again by the base rate. So if I want to increase our base rate by 25%, that'll do that across that area. Once we're happy with this stage, we can then save our rules. Which will then give us a summary of what we've done. So we go through all our base rates here. We can then look at our rules, followed by exceptions, then observations, and finally polygons. If you're not happy with any of these, you simply go up to Edit Rules, and that'll take us back into the rule editing piece where we were before. So here we go, we can then go in and change any of these values that we wish. But I'm happy with this, so I'm going to save rules. I'm also happy with my summary page, so we can go next. And this leads us to what I call our final adjustments page. So in here, we can either bulk adjust by crop type, by variety, or by field. What we can also do is we can go and manually override some of these zones. So if you decide actually, well, there's an area here that I'm not quite happy with, we can go Edit Rate, click on a zone, and we can then edit that zone. So click off there, that's changed that. Again, we can go into here, change the value of that zone, and that changed that zone. We can also do this with polygons. So again, this polygon rate, if we're not happy with that, we can type in there. And the same with observations. So observations, you can do exactly the same. So if again, we change that to 480, that does that. Once you're happy with the edits here, save changes, and that'll then confirm off what we've just done. And the final thing you should do is bulk adjust. So before you go into bulk adjust, make sure you're 100% happy with your plan, because it does mean a few steps you have to undo to bulk adjust if you want to go and make an edit further forward. So if we wanted to bulk adjust our skyway, we know we've only got 5 tons of seed. We can change it to 5 ton, save changes, and that'll then change that value. Or for example, if we want to change our winter barley, we know that that's the total we've got, but we want to cater for a bit of overlap. So you could say, well, actually I want to decrease my total by 5%, for example, just to cater for my overlap. So now I've got enough seed here. Save changes. And that'll then decrease our value by 5%. So if you was to go variable rate drilling, that may just capture that for you. Once you're happy, save plan. And then the plan will sit in our planning homepage. Now there's a few things you can do here. You can go back and edit your plan. So if you go to edit, that'll bring us into our field selector. That'll then bring us to our summary page. Now what you will notice is our edit rules here is greyed out. So if we wanted to go and edit our rules, we'd actually have to undo the bulk adjust that we made. It will leave our zone edits that we did earlier, but it will just take away our bulk adjust. So if you want to go back and edit rules, you undo your bulk adjust. It will confirm that you definitely want to delete your bulk adjust. Confirm. That then makes our edit rules available. We can go in here. We could change 1,000 grain weight, for example. So I want to change that to 50, save rules. That'll go away and make the edit. We can confirm that in our summary. So there we go, we've got 50 there. Next, our edits are still the same, but we'll just need to bulk adjust. So bulk adjust again into our Skyway spring barley. 5 tons, save changes. And there we have it. Save plan. What we can also do here is if we go into 3 dots again, we can go into our downloads. We can download a job report. So we hit download there. That'll then create our download. And then we've got our report here for this job. So we can see the crop types we planned, the rate units we used, and then a summary of what we've done. So we've got our barleys by variety, wheats by variety, oilseed rate by variety, shows us our average seed to metre squared, the total area planned, and the total product required. If we keep going down, this then breaks it down by field. So again, we've got our seed to metre squared, our area, total product in 1,000 grain weight. There's also space for an operator to put an applied date and a total amount applied. That does this for each variety and field. And then finally, there's a map summary so you can see where the rates are sitting on the map. What we can also do, so getting into downloads, we can generate our GPS files. So if we set the file type, so if we know it's going into a John Deere, for example, we can then set our default rates. So these are all in kilograms a hectare. So if we know we want our loss of GPS rate to be 180, for example. We're just going to put our, same for our winter barley again, just for example. Oilseed rate. And then finally our winter wheats. Once we're happy, we can download files. And then if we close that, you'll see for our test plan, we've got our GPRS files being generated. So as you can see, the bit of paper goes green. Click on that. That then shoots to our downloads and there's a zip file here. Thank you for taking the time to watch a short tutorial. If you have any further questions, please contact your local crop input specialist.